So now I invite Dr. Malika Harikrishnan, Professor, Government Medical College, Thrissur, to talk about low functioning CVA. Over to you.
Good morning, one and all. We have seen that the spectrum of visual difficulties in a child with CVA can range from profound visual impairment, that you call it as low functioning CVA, to a normal or near normal visual acuity but with significant cognitive visual dysfunction, that you can call it as high functioning CVA. It is very common in our practice to see very small children with such profound CVA, like this child finding it very difficult to focus an illuminated object, and this child even not even looking at the object, lighted object. Same thing with this child also. And this child, he prefers to look at one side, and that side he prefers always to the calls of mother and recognize the mother, etc. So that is what I would like to tell you about low functioning CVA. So it is very difficult to assess these children because most of these children are not very cooperative and they are very small. So how do we assess these children with profound CVA? What to assess and how? There are so many challenges we have to face because they don't even look towards the light. So how to assess the vision? What tests to be done? And even if you test all these things, you get some inferences. How are you going to convey to the parents in a language which they can understand? And finally, what you can do for them? Because the management is very closely linked with the early intervention and special education and training. So in the history, how do you approach the child? In the history, you have to ask such questions like, does the children follow people's movement? React to someone who is approaching him? React to lights being turned on and off? Return to a silent smile? React to food through vision? React for a drink? React to reflection of themselves in a mirror? React to any and reach for silent objects? If the response to any of these above questions is positive, measurable visual acuity using preferential looking methods is likely to be elicited. And in these children, you have to ask furthermore questions like in which location they perform best, and any part of visual field better response than others. When does the children see better? Like in the morning, evening, when he is well fed or something like that. And for how long can the visual attention be maintained? Suppose there is no evidence of vision, you should look for reflex blind sight. It is a pathway connecting lateral geniculate body to the superior colliculus. It is much more developed in evolutionarily low-leveled animals, and it usually processes movement of peripheral low contrast stimuli. It is present in ourselves also, still working when the cortical system or the posterior parietal lobe is damaged. So always you can try to make use of this system. So how do we find out that this pathway is working? There are certain clues for that. Suppose there is mouth opening when the spoon is brought towards the mouth from the side. If there is some reflex, large smile silently from a close range from the mother, as in this picture, or to a smiley card. And this child, when the eye is turned to the lightened object, he will start responding to it slowly. So for all these, you have to set up an examination come functional visual assessment room. How to set up this room? This room should be absolutely clutter free and there should be facility to change illumination. All the gadgets you needed should be kept in a cupboard like this, and only whenever needed you have to take it. And what is the most comfortable position for the child? When the child is resting and when it is well fed, resting on the mother's lap. So when a child is having very severe simultaneous nausea, you can use these tents like this, which is readily available in Amazon also and very cheaply available at home only. You can make a tent like this with a sari or a bed sheet. So during the first visit, what are the things you will assess? You should do a comprehensive evaluation, refraction and accommodation. Look for any treatable ophthalmic conditions like cataract, high refractive errors, hypoaccommodation, which is often missed, control of associated neurological problems, and also you should be able to prognosticate because once you find out some very severe ophthalmic conditions like optic atrophy, you cannot expect more in this child. So how to assess accommodation? These are a few tips. You can observe the pupil as the child switches attention from a distant object to near object at about 20 centimeter. If the pupil constricts, it is an indication that he is accommodating. If you do the retinoscopy and if the retinoscopy reflects changes from with to against and the pupil becomes small, it indicates that the child can accommodate. Suppose all these are not possible, what will you do? Try using some ready-made glasses of powers like +3, +4, +5, etc. And in this video, you can see the child is not responding to a lighted object, but when she is put on an accommodative glasses, she starts slowly responding. And in the second visit, you should do the functional vision assessment. For that, you use preferential looking tests, Teller acuity cards or Lea paddles. Lea paddles are better for these children because they are bigger and the stripes in that you can compare with your finger and you can explain to the parent or the caretaker that this is the minimum distance or this is the minimum width at which the child is able to see. And also you should find out what is the facial recognition distance of the child. And another method is using puppet face because puppet face are more acceptable for the children because any species will recognize its own face better than the other any artificial things. So also other thing is that if you do a swirling motion, that also helps, especially in a case of CVA. Sometimes you can do better in a dim illumination. All these are not possible. What is the very minimal or very simple option? You can do a mirror test. If one does not have access to routine or this preferential liking test, you can use this. Use a simple mirror and you move this mirror to the child very closely and find out the distance at which the child recognizes her own face. That is the distance and that is the optimal distance at which the child recognizes these stimuli, the visual sphere of the child. Suppose the child is not recognizing all these, what is the other option? You can use a lighted stimuli like this. And other important thing is that you should keep the illuminated toy beside the child and watch for some time because these children will be having prolonged visual latency. So wait for at least 30 to 40 seconds before concluding that the child is not responding. And testing visual field is also important. For that you will use puppet faces or Lea band. In puppet faces, examiner should block central vision stimuli with the help of a blackboard and then introduce appropriate size puppet faces from different sides. And the child's response to that is being watched. When you use the Lea band, the examiner should bring the light of the Lea band from behind the child and see when does the child will respond to the light. This is particularly useful for those children with very poor visual acuity. Also try doing it by dimming the room light and keep the van light very close to the face. You can do some simple methods like with an interesting toy, make it illuminated and bring it behind a cardboard and popping up from different directions and look for the child's response. And sometimes that is also not possible. Make the child uses tactile stimuli. Make the child hold the toy and use the stimuli to recognize the object. Contrast sensitivity is another important test. Usually we don't do in much in the adult cases, but children it is very important because our face is a structure with very low contrast. The recognizing faces and the expression that is very important in the case of especially in habilitating the child with CVA. For that you will use the hiding Heidi test. So, to conclude, in CVA, it is unlikely that the child has total blindness unless there is some end organ total failure. As said in the previous talk, there are a lot of neuroplasticity, and you can develop on that. We need to find those suitable conditions at which these things can happen. So, you should keep supporting it so that it will grow further, and you can do something for them. So that's all I want to say. I acknowledge Dr. Dattan and Dr. Niranjan Pahera for their articles and useful videos. And I thankfully recognize Dr. Geeta for her videos and Dr. Sujata also for her videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mallika, for the excellent presentation.